Hi, passionate Rangers FC fans. Welcome to Rangers Update, your dedicated source for all things Rangers. Before we dive in, we want to express our gratitude for your unwavering support. If you bleed blue, don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button, and let's strengthen our community. Now, let's get into the latest updates. A hearty welcome to our new followers. Your backing means the world to us. WATP, let's get to the news. The word around Ibrox just now is thick with whispers, and the name at the center of it all is none other than Russell Martin, the gaffer who has been trying to shape Rangers into something sharper, hungrier, and more resilient for the season ahead. He's no stranger to the pressure cooker atmosphere of Glasgow football, and yet, this time, the tension seems heavier than usual, not because of results alone, but because of the dressing room itself. What's being murmured among fans and insiders alike is that Martin has privately admitted that two players, yes, just two specific individuals, are dragging down the mood, slowing the momentum, and, in his words, actually harming the wider squad. It's not about injuries, not about ability, but about mentality, attitude, and the sort of small-minded negativity that seeps into training sessions, into team talks, into the spaces where unity should be forged. The idea of two bad apples spoiling the bunch has always been part of football folklore, but when the Rangers boss is the one supposedly pointing the finger, it carries a weight that rattles supporters, sends shivers down journalists' spines, and makes every player's name suddenly feel like it might be on the line. The conversation has taken on a life of its own because the Scottish game thrives on drama, on intrigue, on the idea that behind closed doors there's a different match being played entirely, one of egos, clashes, and silent standoffs. Russell Martin, for his part, is said to be a manager who values openness, loyalty, and discipline above all, which makes the rumor even more striking, for if he's frustrated enough to speak about the problem, then the situation must be cutting deeper than most realize. Two players, faceless for now, are said to be creating a ripple effect, one that unsettles even those who want no part of the dispute. They could be senior figures resistant to change, or younger lads who simply don't buy into the collective effort. Nobody knows for certain, but the doubt alone stirs the pot, fuels speculation, and keeps tongues wagging from Govan to the Highlands. Every misplaced pass, every half-hearted sprint, every sulky expression on the pitch or in training now takes on new meaning for supporters desperate to work out who's guilty. It becomes a guessing game, one where suspicion eats away at trust, and every squad photo becomes a puzzle filled with hidden stories waiting to be uncovered. The press have been careful, almost cagey, in reporting this because they know the delicacy of the matter. Call out names without proof and you risk dividing the support, creating villains where none exist. But ignoring the whispers isn't an option either, because the notion of internal unrest is already too strong to dismiss, and everyone with even a passing interest in Scottish football has caught wind of it. What's fascinating is the way Martin himself is being portrayed. On one hand, he's painted as a leader who won't tolerate disruption, who is willing to confront issues head-on before they rot the team from the inside. On the other hand, some say his openness is risky, that admitting such problems shows cracks in his authority, gives rivals ammunition, and maybe unsettles players who were otherwise neutral. It's a delicate balance between honesty and control, and in the fiery world of Rangers, where the demand for perfection borders on obsession, the smallest slip can snowball into crisis. Fans want answers, clarity, but Martin has given only enough to spark imagination, leaving the rest to speculation, and in Glasgow, speculation is oxygen for endless chatter and debate. Behind the scenes, insiders suggest that training sessions have lost some of their bite, some of that ferocious tempo Martin wanted to instill from day one. The energy dips not because the drills are flawed, but because not every player is buying in, not every voice in the huddle is pulling in the same direction. In modern football, mentality is half the battle, and when even one or two refuse to engage, the damage can be immense. Teammates who want to push forward start second-guessing themselves. Arguments flare over minor mistakes, and instead of uniting under the manager's vision, small cliques begin to form. That's the kind of atmosphere fans never see directly but sense in results, in performances, in the little intangibles that separate champions from nearly men. If Martin is right, If there truly are two disruptive forces in his camp, then the whole season's trajectory could be altered because Rangers cannot afford distraction. They've been chasing Celtic for too long, striving to reassert dominance, and a fractured squad is the last thing anyone in blue can stomach. The supporters demand unity, and the gaffer knows he must find a solution, fast, before whispers turn into outright mutiny. Of course, in the feverish world of football rumor, every story takes on a life of its own. Some say the troublemakers are senior pros frustrated with younger teammates getting opportunities. Others claim it's the youngsters themselves, too impatient, too eager to carve out a role without putting in the graft. There are even whispers of agents stirring the pot, whispering into ears, planting seeds of discontent so that transfers become inevitable. For Russell Martin, it almost doesn't matter who the culprits are in the public's eye. What matters is how he handles it inside that dressing room, how he stamps authority without alienating the rest. That's the fine art of management, especially at a club like Rangers where every move is dissected. Fans won't accept excuses, won't accept distractions, and won't accept anything less than full commitment. If Martin doesn't resolve the issue, it could spiral into something bigger, the kind of saga that drags into headlines for weeks, leaving players, staff, and supporters drained. That's why the whispers sting, not because of the drama alone, but because everyone knows Rangers are at a fragile point, and one wrong step could see the whole campaign crumble under pressure. As things stand, the names of the two players remain shrouded, hidden under layers of speculation, but the story has already colored perceptions. Supporters are looking at the squad differently, scanning every substitution, every omission from the matchday list, every comment from Martin in press conferences. Did he bench someone because of form, or is it punishment? Did he praise one player too much to draw attention away from another? Every decision becomes loaded with hidden meaning when rumors of unrest are swirling. What makes it worse is that the fans, the heartbeat of the club, feel they deserve answers, but the club can't risk exposing too much. So the tension lingers, feeding off itself, growing stronger the longer it remains unresolved. For Martin, it's a test not just of tactical nous, but of leadership, diplomacy, and perhaps even ruthlessness. He'll need to choose whether to reintegrate the troublemakers, discipline them, or cut ties completely, and none of those options come without risk. That's the beauty and the curse of managing Rangers. The stakes are immense, the room for error tiny, and every whisper, every rumor, becomes a storm that must be weathered before the next ball is kicked. The atmosphere inside Ibrox is reportedly electric, in that tense, buzzing way that happens when everyone senses something is about to give. Martin's voice in training sessions is said to carry a sharper edge than usual, the kind that makes even seasoned pros think twice before shrugging off instructions. Rumors insist that the two players in question have been isolated in subtle ways, not publicly, but in terms of responsibility, accountability, and influence. Some suggest they are no longer central to Martin's plans, forced to earn trust in a manner they've never experienced before. Yet others speculate that Martin is deliberately keeping them close, monitoring reactions, seeing if they can rise to the occasion under pressure. It's a classic high-stakes psychological battle, a chess game disguised as routine football preparation. Every drill, every tactical session, every friendly conversation on the training ground carries hidden significance, because, according to the whispers, Martin is looking beyond immediate results. He's looking at character, resilience, and the willingness to put the team above self-interest. In a squad like Rangers, where pride runs as deep as the River Clyde, even subtle tensions can explode if mishandled. And while the outside world sees only the polished matches and the official statements, inside, rumor has it, there is a simmering drama that could dictate the rest of the season. Sources close to the club, speaking off the record, claim the situation is delicate enough that even team meetings are affected. Players allegedly tread carefully, choosing words with precision, avoiding eye contact with certain individuals, and trying not to fuel the growing narrative. Some insiders say the two players have tried to adapt, but old habits die hard, and every slip reinforces Martin's frustration. The gossip circles hint that Martin himself has spoken to them in private, offering both warnings and guidance, emphasizing the gravity of their impact on the squad. Yet, as often happens in football, progress is nonlinear. Small signs of improvement are shadowed by minor regressions, and every observation is magnified through the lens of expectation. Fans following these developments closely have started to dissect pre-match interviews, looking for coded language, hidden meanings, or subtle hints about the manager's mindset. The drama becomes a story within the story, a subplot that exists alongside results, transfers, and tactics. And because Rangers supporters are among the most passionate and vocal in Scotland, every rumor, no matter how slight, has the potential to spiral, gaining momentum until it feels almost impossible to contain. In a way, the whispers have already achieved power. They've shifted attention, shaped narratives, and added a new layer of tension to an already high-pressure environment. What complicates the saga even further is the role of media speculation, which has a life of its own and thrives on partial truths and innuendo. Some journalists claim Martin is attempting damage control, trying to balance transparency with authority, while others suggest the gaffer is subtly signaling a turning point, letting fans know that accountability is non-negotiable. In this environment, every gesture, every expression, every comment is scrutinized. If a player smiles at a teammate, it might be read as allegiance or defiance. If Martin praises someone in passing, it could be interpreted as a veiled criticism of another. The beauty of football gossip lies in this ambiguity, in the space between what is said and what is meant, and the Rangers' story exemplifies it perfectly. Observers who have followed similar situations at other clubs note that such internal dramas can either galvanize a squad or corrode it, depending on how they are managed. If handled deftly, Martin could transform dissent into motivation, turning the two troublesome players into symbols of redemption and renewed commitment. If mishandled, however, the disruption could fester, seeding division and discontent in a way that impacts results on the pitch. The tension, it seems, is at an apex where patience, strategy, and instinct must converge to prevent a minor rumor from becoming a major crisis. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Even supporters who usually avoid gossip find themselves drawn into the narrative, scanning social media, dissecting highlights, and debating which players might be at the center of the unrest. Fan forums are abuzz with speculation, theories, and backstories, each more colorful than the last, ranging from personality clashes to subtle tactical disagreements, and sometimes entirely invented scenarios that sound plausible because of the charged atmosphere. The ripple effect of these whispers is substantial, affecting not just how fans perceive the team, but also how players themselves perceive each other. Loyalty and trust are fragile commodities in a squad under scrutiny, and insiders suggest that Martin is acutely aware of this dynamic, taking steps to maintain cohesion while addressing individual issues. The rumors create an almost cinematic tension, a story of internal conflict that parallels any Hollywood drama but is grounded in real consequences. In a high-profile club like Rangers, where every action is magnified and expectations are immense, even subtle cracks can expand quickly if not managed with precision. The fans, while intrigued, are demanding clarity, and the players, while aware of eyes on them, are navigating the tricky waters of speculation, performance, and personal pride all at once. The simmering uncertainty turns ordinary training sessions into critical tests of character, leadership, and resilience, where every move counts more than it would in a calmer environment. Meanwhile, the broader football community is watching with interest because the saga has implications beyond Ibrox. Rivals see an opportunity, pundits dissect possible outcomes, and betting markets even adjust their odds in response to perceived instability. Every rumor about the two players becomes a talking point on podcasts, radio shows, and social media feeds, spreading the story far wider than the club might prefer. Martin, it is said, understands the optics and is trying to insulate the squad from unnecessary noise, yet the whispers continue to ripple outward. For the manager, the challenge is double. Maintain internal control while managing external perception. Every decision he makes, whether benching a player, changing formations, or altering tactics, is viewed through the lens of the rumor, as if each move confirms or denies suspicions about the disruptive duo. The story, while centered on two individuals, has grown into a narrative about leadership, accountability, and the fragility of team unity under pressure. The drama reflects the high stakes of top-level football, where talent alone is not enough. Mental strength, discipline, and character become equally critical in determining whether a season flourishes or flounders. The rumor has already cast a long shadow over the squad, turning every fixture into more than just a game. Speculation now suggests that the next few matches could be decisive not just in league standings, but in defining the internal hierarchy of the squad. Martin's management style, apparently a blend of encouragement and firmness, is being tested in real time, with observers keen to see if he can convert tension into performance. Insiders claim the two players are under intense scrutiny, their every touch, pass, and defensive action analyzed not just by coaches, but by teammates, all filtered through the lens of rumor and expectation. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.